Welcome everyone to the second episode of the second series of Stories of SWA. Today I have a very special guest in my house and I give a warm welcome to Nirajita. How does it feel to be here, Nirajita?
First of all, thank you for having me over. It's such a beautiful house. My first time in Pune, actually.
Absolutely. The first time in Pune?
Yeah, this is my first time in Pune.
Hmm.
And it's such a lovely city, so green.
Hmm.
So I'm enjoying this so much.
And thank you for taking time to do this. I know you're in the middle of events for which you have come here for work, but taking time out to do this for us, for the podcast. Thank you so much, Nirajita.
Honor. It's my honor.
And I can't help but recollect the time that you and I met each other virtually. We met over Zoom, and it was again a common friend, Ruchi, that got us introduced. And I remember whether it was in the discovery call that I spoke to you, or was it the first session that I had with you? I was sitting in front of another Virgo. You are also September born, so that excited me a lot that I am going to be talking with another Virgo. Also, who I saw in front of me was a very, very intelligent, very self assured, very to the point talking person who was sitting in front of me. And I remember after the call thinking, how am I going to break through this? Because I could sense, because of the journey that probably you've had, and we did not discuss a lot in the first session. I could see that I'm sitting with somebody who has a lot of walls around her. And as her coach, how am I going to penetrate those walls? And I remember then just letting the universe take over. Every time I had a session with you, initially, I would say a small prayer that, universe, guide me what I should ask, guide me where these sessions have to take, and you take over. I want to ask you, this was my understanding of getting to know you initially. Of course, after that, things have changed completely. Um, how was it for you then? Where were you personally? Where were you energetically at that time when you and I started to get talking together?
So, Dheera, when I started talking to you, actually, you mentioned that Ruchi introduced us. That is also a very interesting story because I was very upset about work one day, and that also brings me to the point of it was regarding an external validation kind of issue, which I later understood it was about that. But I was really upset about work, and I spoke to Ruchi, who was my mentor at that time, who's still my mentor, of course. Uh, and she did not touch upon the work topic at all. She said, Neera, what is your relationship with yourself?
Yourself.
And I have never been asked that before. Like, before that, I had never been asked. And I still remember not having any answer to that. And as cliche it may sound, but there is the first duty now I know is my relationship with myself.
Absolutely.
And that time I did not. So that is when she put me in touch with you. She said, just attend one book reading session. And simultaneously at that time, I was reading Law of Attraction because Law of Attraction by Abraham Hicks, which we have spoken about a lot. And I know your next book reading will be about that. So, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in 2020. And at that time, I was also going through a divorce. And I was, I think, at my lowest point in my life because work-wise also I was not going anywhere. I also had a good job, but it was not going anywhere. I think something shifted when you're at the lowest point. Everybody says, "Na, the only way
Is to go
is up." That is not just a thing to say. I realized it later. That is when a friend of mine introduced me to Law of Attraction by Abraham Hicks, and I started watching their videos. Within a month, uh, my divorce was finalized. No waiting period, nothing. My mom miraculously got better.
Lovely.
I was put in touch with you. It was almost like I was manifesting like this, Yeah. Now I know it's manifestation. At that time, I did not know what was happening because I just let go. Okay, now I'm surrendering. Whatever happens, happens. I was in that phase when I met you.
Mm.
But I had gone through so much. All I knew was that I needed to protect myself.
Mm.
And I still remember telling you over those calls that I have not cried for so long. I don't cry. And I was so proud of it.
Mm.
Like, oh, nahi rona to is a good thing, right?
Mm.
You are like strong woman and everything.
Mm.
I did not think that I was trapping that energy inside me.
Yeah.
I that sadness became anger. The anger came out at the wrong time, wrong place. It was not what I wanted, of course.
Absolutely.
But with time, when I started speaking to you more and more, and
Mm.
I suddenly felt things, people dropping off that did not fit in my new definition and drop off very drastically. I saw decades old relationships drop off. I saw people who have meant the world to me go away from my life, family, friends, everyone. Like, and before that, Nadhira, I did not know what it meant to even let go of people.
Yeah.
So that was a shock. So that time when I met you, I was, I think, in autopilot mode.
Yeah.
So चल रहा है, चलने देते हैं. I will protect myself, but I did not know how. That was my mode that time.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember our conversations initially beginning with work.
Yeah.
You know, you used to tell me that when I'm in a presentation and if I have to speak, sometimes I freeze. I don't know what to say. And from there, I think I have seen you traversing various other dynamics of your life, whether it is your personal relationships with friends, with your family, with your parents, even with partners. You've really navigated a lot. I want to take a moment and, if you feel comfortable, talking about one aspect of life which I feel um, has contributed, according to me, a lot in your healing, and that is your marriage. If you feel comfortable talking about it, what was it for you while you were married? And I know you knew what was happening to you, and a part of you was not able to step out of it. What was that part? What was the catalyst for you to move out of it? And where do you find yourself today with respect to love? Because I know there was a time when you were also very skeptical about love, and things have changed. So, can you just take us through a little bit of the glimpse of the life that you were living with your ex, and then how did the transition or how the transformation happened?
I think nobody told me growing up, this is how you leave. We did not know how to leave. That's
Absolutely.
We
Right.
knew that tolerating is a virtue.
Mm.
We were told a good girl always obeys, a good girl always listens, smiles, doesn't talk loudly, doesn't laugh loudly, doesn't do this, that, whatever. We try to fit into.
Mm.
I think what happened in my marriage had a lot to do with how I grew up, a lot to do with how I always relied on someone else to define the rules of a relationship.
Mm.
I always, as far as I remember, and now in retrospect, actually, when it was happening, I did not, of course, realize that how I always get influenced a lot, and that is when that influence happens, all I seek is that validation from that one
From that
person.
person. Mm.
Growing up, it was my mom. She's a strong personality, one of the most influential people in my life. And all my life, I have sought validation from her. When I met my ex-husband, he was also a very strong personality.
So this was a love marriage? I'm sorry, I'm...
He was He was a college friend
Friend.
of mine. In fact, it started as a rebound, and his it happened like snap of a finger like situation. Like he was in college, and we briefly dated, and his mom, she had cancer. Her cancer relapsed for the third time, and then they were like, let's get married. And I was barely 23. My parents also were rethinking that she's so young. My parents did not get married very young. My dad was 37 when I was born, actually. So in Bengali families also, generally people don't get married this early. But I did because, I grew up with this idea that, oh, I will get married, have babies. This is, I want a family, everything. Career was never a priority. Never. If someone sees my life now, will never realize that what my priorities were in life. I was like, I still remember this funny incident. A friend of ours, a roommate of ours in Delhi, she asked कि हम बड़े होके क्या बनना है हमने. I was like, मुझे तो बीवी बनना है. My friends group also, they knew that this is what I wanted. Um, this friend of mine asked once, I was like, oh, tell me you have a boyfriend, right? I was 15 or something. I was like, what is wrong with you? I don't have any boyfriend. I will only have one boyfriend. I will get married to
Married to
him,
him.
and that is my life.
Yeah.
Man proposes, God disposes. So, no regrets, of course. But I think when that rebound situation happened, and I really liked conversation. I still like conversations with my ex-husband. I am in touch with my ex-husband. We have a beautiful relationship right now. He's also going to therapy, and he's also trying to
That's nice.
work on himself, which I always wanted. Uh, we are very good friends now, but when I was in that relationship, I did not know what was happening. I had, over time, it happened very gradually. First it was anger, shouting, then it was abusive, then it was physical. It gradually got normalized. At one point where my parents had to, almost shake me and tell me that this is not normal. You have to leave. And if my parents had not done that, I think I would have stayed. And I feel I disappointed myself in that moment right now, but I did not know better. Because we don't leave, right? We tolerate and we stay. Even now, yeah, like there are friends, family, colleagues who don't include me in things because I'm a divorcee.
Yeah.
They don't see me as Nirajita, they see me as a divorcee.
But did you have these thoughts of this stigma around divorce when you were choosing to be in that default mode? Were you consciously thinking, or were you, what we say, completely zoned out? You had lost touch with your own self, which is why you were continuing in that relationship at that particular time. What was more dominant in your mind at that time?
I think it was codependency, to be honest. I did not know how to be alone. I had never been alone. I always had my parents or my roommates or someone I was living with, but I did not know how to be alone.
And so, did you feel that you have no choice but to be in it?
Yes. I still remember my ex-husband used to have night shifts. He is still a journalist and he had night shifts, and I would beg him not to go to work at night, leaving me alone, because I was so scared of being alone at night or something. And now it's been about 6, 7 years. I'm staying alone, and I genuinely look forward to going back to my own space.
I want to talk about this big leap, which you have very casually covered. I was this person, but today there is a lot that happened in between. I also remember in our sessions, you used to talk about this in a very, so it's not a big deal. And my heart would cry out listening to what you were telling me. So that gap in between from what you were going through and that Nirajita that felt that either I don't have a choice or I don't have help or how will I live alone, or not even finding that strength to ask herself, why am I accepting this, to this Nirajita today who has found herself, who is empowered to another level. What did that journey look like? What all did you do to be able to be here where you are today?
So much. But Dheera, when I was growing up, I used to tell my dad that ले चलो मुझे weekend पे कहीं के घूमने, because I did not know driving. I was a child. Then it became my husband that I want to go out. Can you drive me? Whatever. He wouldn't. I realized the first thing I did after my divorce was learning how to drive. I remember this very clearly because that is the moment when I realized how liberating it is.
Mm.
And I would have never learned to how to drive if I had not left him.
Yeah.
And today, people tell me, oh, Bangalore traffic mein koi kaise drive kar sakta hai?" They don't understand how therapeutic it is.
It is.
People do meditation, that is my meditation.
Yeah.
That is my me time.
Mm.
When I drive,
Mm.
even if it takes 1.5 hours from office to home, I am happy with that. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this is because that leap, na, which you talked about, I drive better than any man I have sat next to.
Mm.
I drive better than my dad. I drive better than any person I have sit next to. Anyone. I know this because I know how good I am at that. This conviction did not come in most things in my life. I always felt so small in front of everyone, either at work, at home, at within my friends, or like within my community. I always felt small even though I did not speak about it.
Yeah.
I always showed that I have got it all together, but actually I was feeling so small. But when each moment of struggle, I will not call it struggle because today I realize why it was important. So it is not struggle, it's actually a very good experience that I had. But each of it led to where I am today with the people that I am today. It is a shame that we had to go through so much to reach here. But if I had not, I wouldn't have been who I am today, right? So when I was going through that painful experience, I still remember I would go to the balcony to breathe because I did not know how else to breathe inside the house. That then the struggles at work also, because I come from a very hard news background and I was not in a newsroom, I was in a tech company.
Yeah.
So that also had an impact how I associated my identity with my work and gave my everything to work, because in my mind personal life is not great.
Yeah.
So let's make sure my professional life is kahin to acha ho. So that, but your question about not believing in love, because in my mind there was only one definition of love, and the universe has a very unique way of returning what you give out into it. I just tell you, I just came back from a very lovely trip with my best friend. I just tell you an incident, what I see as love. So in the bus, okay, we were going to Grand Canyon. I was sitting next to her. And
so this is somebody talking about love who I want to tell my viewers. I think about 7, 8 months back, we were talking about love on a book reading session, and She said, I don't believe in love. It is too overrated, right? To now seeing somebody being so warm and fuzzy and talking
Yeah,
about love.
because the definition of love
Love has
does,
changed.
yeah, it is in the smallest of things.
Absolutely.
And that is why I'm telling you this incident that I kept my head, okay, I did not even tell her, I have to speak to her about this, but you know, I was sleeping, I was jet lagged, so I kept my head on her shoulders.
Mm.
She held my head so that it doesn't keep
Oh,
falling
oh,
because I was sleeping.
oh.
I realized it. And that is such a small thing.
Yeah.
But the entire ride, she kept her hand like this
How sweet.
so that my head does not fall.
Mm-hmm.
And I think grand gestures are not really, cannot be equated to.
Absolutely.
It is the smaller things.
Mm.
And it comes back. Whatever you give into the universe always comes back to you in some way or the other.
Right.
You lose 4 friends, you get one back who will mean the world.
Absolutely.
So I think.
And love is there to be found if you just start looking for it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So tell me this, Nirajita. I am coming back to the same topic that we were talking because I know um, there are many women who could be you, what you were earlier. And if there is one moment of courage, one moment of inspiration they can take away listening to you, and if they are able to take that leap of faith and decide they have a choice, we would love to have that. So, you said that you did not even know how to live alone, to then having a house of your own, and now you're living for the last 6 years, you said. Um, However, there was a first night that you spent alone in the house. How was that for you? How did you, I wouldn't say overcome, how did you meet your fears when you started living alone, and what has that meant for you?
You know, I'm very afraid of the dark. Okay. So I sleep with the bathroom lights on.
Lights out, yeah.
Always. Even now, 6 years later, I do that. The first few nights I spent on calls with my friends. Um, After that, gradually, I think how you build your house also is very important. Where you stay, that's your sanctuary, right? I don't know if enough people uh, stress so much on building your sanctuary around you.
Absolutely.
But my house, I love my house. Like the new house also that I shifted into. I used to love the previous one also, but I love this one also. And I keep telling myself that I love this house so much. I talk to it all the time. Okay?
Yeah.
If you give that much attention to anything, it comes alive.
Absolutely.
You make it alive, right? This place, Dhira, your place, I came and said that this screams Dhira.
Yeah.
This screams Dhira because you built it like this. This is a reflection of your personality.
Absolutely.
So I think instead of associating your identity with a relationship, with a person, or with a job, you can decenter that thing. And you can start focusing on you, your surrounding. You are at the center. When you are at the center, what's around you? My home. What's around it? My people who will come to this home with the same energy that you want. Right? So step by step now it gets better. So जैसे first day I focused on buying new stuff that can make this house look like mine and not mine and my ex-husband's. So I started making it a little more like me. And then I started inviting people over. Before that, I did not used to invite people over. I started inviting people over who were like me. So gradually, na, it became more like me. So inspiration does not come from external sources. It's always internal. If no matter how many people tell me na go to the gym and no matter how close I'm to them, I will not
Absolutely.
that person.
Yeah.
I will do what I want. So
Yeah. It is so beautiful, Why I am smiling is because just in the previous podcast, when Neha was here,
Huh.
she said exactly the same sentence. She took exactly the same example of going to the gym, and she said exactly the same thing. I know I have to do it. You're saying it will not make it any more important or whatever. Just let me be, and how important it is that to just give freedom. Even living by yourself, the freedom to choose what you want to eat, when you don't want to eat, what kind of curtains you want to put in the house. Um, did you notice all of that, what it was doing to you when you were doing these things?
100%. Even now, like I did not use the old curtains in this new house. I have made sure that I want ऐसे Jaipuri print, block print I want for this curtain, area. I will choose that.
Yeah.
I will make sure that happens. I did not even put up my old television. I bought a new television. Like,
Lovely.
it is, I think every um place where you spend a lot of time deserves that much respect.
Absolutely.
I feel.
Absolutely.
And it sounds very materialistic, but we don't understand, I think, how much it matters subconsciously, how much we take from our surroundings, right? If I'm going to a clean house, if I'm going to a house that smells really good, feel good.
Absolutely.
I really feel good.
Absolutely.
So that matters, and I don't think we understand that
Yeah.
importance yet.
So, if I'm understanding it right, when you started living alone, this house you made a living, breathing thing. It was a house that became your companion. And that is, I think, what made it super special for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
When I keep telling people now that I'm actually an introvert, they don't understand because it's an occupational hazard. I have to come across as an extrovert, and I am a very loud personality. So, of course, I'm an extrovert, right? But I'm not. It drains me.
Yeah.
It drains me. My social battery goes down like this, and I'm like, I can't take calls also anymore. So, then when I come back to my house,
Yeah.
that's my companion.
Yeah.
That makes me feel so good. Like, there's this friend of mine who I met last month, and I was telling him that, I love this house. And then I was gushing about the house only. And then after some time also, we were talking about something else, and he went like, we're still thinking about the house, no? I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. So the house became your best friend. Yeah. And talking about friends, I know you to be somebody who's surrounded by friends. You have lots of friends, and God bless you for that. There was a time in your life when these friendships were also somewhere asking you to go a little bit deeper within. They were trying to show you that there is some part of you that you need to heal your own self. And so, the kind of friends that you had that time, I know there was a struggle in a while in between your friendship with your school friends or earlier friends. What was that phase for you? And again, like always, how did you turn that around, and where are you today?
almost feels like I grew up in the last 6 years. Before that, I did not exist. I almost feel like I did not exist before this because honestly, I don't recognize the Nirajita before that. I started becoming more self aware after 2020 ish when the rock bottom thing happened. Uh, my friendships were just people I grew up with is and I clung to everyone actually at that point because give me validation. My need for external validation was insane. And of course, there is a background story to that, but I sought that validation in every relationship, be it friendship, be it a romantic relationship, be it a relationship with my parents, be it anything. I sought that validation. If someone did not reply, I would be like, why didn't you reply? If someone did not wish me at 12, I wouldn't talk to that person. Now, I don't care enough about that. Um, I think learning how to let go
Yeah.
helped me a lot.
Mm.
Um, letting go does not mean you stop caring.
Mm.
Learning that also helped a lot.
Mm.
My relationships with my school friends, other friends also got better when I realized that I need to let them be and I need to let myself be as well.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, I was trying to cling too hard and it was slipping away. And it was a very lonely um, journey.
Mm.
And I'm glad I met Ananya, who's my best friend, uh, at that point in my life. But also, that also took some time,
Yeah.
warming up
Yeah.
period,
Yeah.
right? But that part was very lonely because I was going through these things. I also did not have anyone to share with.
Yeah.
What do I do? It was very lonely at that period. Maybe if I had not been alone, I would have had a different approach. Because I was alone, it was easier for me to know that now it's gone. Now, what will you do alone? So, figure it out. So, when I started putting myself at the center, when you are alone, right, then you cannot, uh, then you don't need to actually cling to anything. You just have to cling to yourself,
Yeah.
right?
It's a very, I would say, being alone is a very tricky phase, right? Some people like you utilize that phase to question all choices that they are making and finding that awareness to stick to the choices that are healthy for me. A lot of people who are alone can also distract themselves into accepting anybody and anyone who comes into their life. So when you're saying that um, being alone was a phase which was difficult for you, I want to actually congratulate you for that phase, because while you were alone, you still chose to be mindful about who you were inviting into your life at that time. And that comes with a very strong self awareness and self realization, and getting to know your own self. Did that shift for you in that phase? And do you see that clearly now? That while earlier Nirajita was making choices for validation, that I need to be having X amount of friends, I need to be married, I need to be a good daughter, you were then becoming a Nirajita who was saying, okay, I am without friends right now, but hey, I still have the power to decide what kind of friends do I want in my life at this point of time.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I started relying on emotions. Again, I will bring back the book Law of Attraction here because it, I think it is my playbook for life, okay? But there is this one thing which we have discussed a lot is the emotional report card,
Yeah.
right? Your emotions tell you clearly what your decision should be.
Mm.
Earlier, na, because of whatever journey I've had, I had anxious attachments in life.
Mm.
And what that led to was creating more anxious attachments. So I went from one bad relationship to another.
Yeah.
I went from one bad friendship to another.
Yeah.
And that only increased my anxiety. And I was so used to the anxiety, it was so familiar to me, right?
Mm.
That I did not know better. I did not know what to do if I'm not anxious. And then, there came a point, I still remember this. I was like, I don't have any anxiety. What do I do with the time that I
Yeah.
have?
Yeah.
So, I think when you realize that the people that were around you and they are not supposed to, they are not making you feel the way you want to feel. You don't settle for breadcrumbs
Absolutely.
just because you've forgotten what food is like. You don't do that, right? So I think emotions, like right now also, I am here feeling so good because of the relationship I have with you.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think I'm at a point of time where I can say this, that even if someone, pays me a lot and asks me to go and do something for someone I don't feel good about, I will not do it. I'll not do it. Because feeling something is more important than doing it for the heck of it.
Absolutely.
Intention. So do it with intention because you feel
Absolutely.
like doing something.
And then to be able to feel what you very rightly said, Abraham Hicks, and the emotional
Yeah.
map that they give.
Yeah.
Again, it takes. So, Nirajita, again, I mean, to also be in touch with that side of you, which makes you be sensitive to your emotions, is again a very big part of becoming self aware, right? Not everyone will have that mindfulness to stop in between talking to somebody or going for a very, obvious work that has to be done, to sit and ask yourself, how am I feeling about this? Am I feeling good doing it, or am I not feeling good doing it? To even find that pause in between and asking yourself, how am I feeling? You get what I'm trying to say? You have to be really in touch with yourself, which you've been able to do, right? And I remember you said when you were in your marriage, you had just started living by default as if it is the normal. So, how did the thawing of your emotions happen? Um, did you do a lot of inner work? Was it meditation? Was it actually sitting and talking to yourself in the mirror? What brought you closer to yourself?
I think there was this one realization that hit me right after my marriage was that I did not know what I liked or disliked. Anything. I, you know, I love Liverpool Football Club. People know this because I talk a lot about it. I'm very attached to it actually right now because I started liking it because a friend liked it growing up. And my father used to watch football a lot and I used to follow them. And um, I started following it and it became such a religious activity that I have to watch every Liverpool match and everything. And I did not even know if I liked Liverpool.
Yeah.
Of course I do now because but I always told people I liked red. I don't know why because it was a bold color maybe, but I didn't. Yellow is my favorite color. Um, I always thought I liked beaches. I never liked beaches actually. I loved mountains. And I did not know all this.
Yeah.
Until my marriage ended. Because I never took the way I want to know about other people. I always asked people these questions, so that I can give them a good gift, maybe, whatever they like. So, what about what I like? I forgot about that. So, I never got to know myself, na. So, I think the inner work that you're saying, this was my inner work, getting to know myself. So, I used to write diary, journaling, right? Since I was 10 or 11 years old. I have so many, it's in my cupboard, okay? So many diaries. Now I read it and I'm embarrassed of my English also, by the way. There. But I realized that I had never written about what I liked in all these years. So, what I did was, I did this exercise of writing about what I liked. What do I like eating? And I intentionally asked myself every day these things, okay? What do you want to eat today? Do you want to eat poha? Do you want to eat dosa? What do you want to eat today? What do you like doing? Do you like, people spoke about, I loved stargazing, okay? So I went on these stargazing and aurora tours and everything, and everybody spoke about aurora being on their bucket list. And I was like, but I'm not ashamed of saying that I don't like aurora. To the naked eye, it looks like a cloud, a dancing cloud. Yeah, dancing cloud may also be cool, but it does not show me any color. It's not what I want. I love a sky full of stars. I would opt for stargazing over aurora chasing.
Yeah.
So those things, like I like winters so much. I like the cold so much. I can't take heat at all. I didn't know all this. Like I have really gotten to know myself the way I have invested in knowing other people. That has helped. That was my inner
That
work.
is so beautiful. And so you've started talking to Nirajita
Yes.
rather than talking to a whole lot of other people. It is you and you now,
Yeah.
right? Nirajita, like we've discussed earlier, a very important role that is played by our initial years, how our childhood has been, how we have grown up. That kind of plays a role in the kind of people we surround ourselves with growing up, right? So, the way you attracted a partner who was not very great for you, the kind of friends that you had earlier, which you've done your work now, etc. Um, there is something to be said about what you were thinking about yourself growing up, or how was the growing up years for you. And that brings me to ask you, how was growing up for you? What all did you pick up when you were growing up, and what do you feel you attracted at that time, or you grew up believing, because of which you created a life that you had earlier, but because you challenged all of that you were grown up with, today you are designing your life differently. So, how was growing up years for you? How were your relationships with your family, with your parents, grandparents? And do you feel did that have a role to play with what happened to you initially?
Um, I have not spoken about this. I don't think I've spoken about this with you also. My grandfather passed away when I was 11 years old. And I was extremely close. I cannot express how close I was to him. That is the kind of love I have never witnessed. I was the center of his universe. Like he would just, be around me to make sure I'm okay. The moment he left, right, I did not cry. I did not know because I was too young. I did not know what that meant, what death was like. The concept of death was very new for me. And he died in front of me. Like I was there in the room. I saw his eyes go and everything. And I never really grieved his death. Even till now, I've never grieved his death. But his passing away left a big void in my life. Before that, I think, whatever happened, it did not affect me much because he was there to
was there.
validate me. After that, all I remember is you're not good enough. That's all I remember. Not good enough in studies, not good enough in singing. I used to learn singing because I'm not practicing more. Not good enough as a friend, not good enough, not good enough, everything. Oh, moti ho ja rahi ho, ye nahi, wo nahi. Arre, yaar. That left me believing no matter what you do, you'll not be good enough until you overachieve. So for me, I recently did a post actually on LinkedIn also about this, that when you are told that you're not good enough, you try to overcompensate. When you're overcompensating, you are changing the benchmark for yourself. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good because that also means you excel. But it also means my definition of achieving became overachieving. So I have seen this come out in many ways, where I tell myself I'm not allowed to make a mistake. I'm not allowed to be human also sometimes like that. Because that would mean you are being a burden on someone else. How can you be? If you're late to something, humans can get late here.
Yeah.
So I went to Chennai recently with two of my friends, and we ordered food. And I had ordered naan, and they ordered biryani. Biryani came early because it was Ambur. We ordered in Ambur, okay. And the naan took time. And God knows why I ordered naan. Also, I did not want to have biryani maybe. And I was feeling so guilty that my food was coming late. And I was like, no, 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 let's pack, let's pack. We'll not. They're like, why? And I was like, no, 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 I don't want to get late. I know you are not feeling well. And they're like, so if our food had come late, you would have said the same thing. You wouldn't have let us eat.
Mm.
And that, I was like, I'm still doing it after so many years. I'm still doing it. I turned 36, I'm still doing it. So, we don't realize how long this lasts.
Yeah.
Even after so many years of, working on myself, I still have traces of those that show up.
And it's an ongoing journey.
Yeah.
It'll come up. It'll come up only to remind us that we are on this journey and it's okay to slip up once. However, we can always pull our socks up and go back to what we were doing for ourselves.
Yeah.
So, do you think all these um, messages that you received during your early growing up years, especially around being the perfect you or never being enough to get a praise or to get a compliment, that could have driven you to living with a lot of a need of external validation? And how are you breaking that need today? How are you challenging, especially when with you are with your primary caregivers, um, to tell them or to make them understand that there is a different way of living than the way they are used to living. And I mean, for them also, it is something that they have taken from their parents. It's not as if they're doing something on their own, but now you are making a different choice, whereas your parents are still where they used to be. How are you bridging that gap between this new Nirajita who's empowered, who knows, who makes the right decision, who can stand in front of a mirror and tell herself, I'm the most beautiful person on this earth, vis-a-vis the set of parents who still could be holding you like a little girl in their eyes? How do you bridge that gap with them?
Some days I don't, actually. Some days are still tough, no? Uh, some days I still feel like, oh, I'm not looking as good. I'm not doing the right thing or something. But most days I tried.
Mm.
Um, to tell myself, I record videos, okay? I record pep talks for myself.
Yeah.
So I record videos.
In your own voice.
Yeah, yeah. I record a video of giving a pep talk to myself.
Nice.
I'm like, who else but than myself? So I record
Yeah.
videos giving a pep talk to myself.
Lovely.
I'm like, this is the energy you need. You're a queen. So one of my previous managers, okay, she's one of the best managers I've ever had. She told me once I met her like 2 to 3 years ago in London, okay, and there was this picture of the queen in the hotel lobby, and she said I was asking her for advice, and she was like, look at that picture, and every time remember, say this. What would the queen do?
Yeah.
So you are the queen. What would the queen do?
Lovely.
Remember this. I'm a queen. Would a queen do this?
I love that actually. I'm going to adapt that.
Yeah, it's lovely. So I remind myself that
Mm.
I'm the queen,
Mm.
and there will be enough people who will make you feel like maybe a princess. But you're not a princess. You don't need taking care of.
Yeah.
You are the queen. You are the decision.
Absolutely.
So that shift from princess to queen is what we need to make. Most women need that, I think. They need to remind themselves of the power they have. And I have seen so many friends, and it's their journey. I cannot advise, I can just observe.
Yeah.
But I see them behave like princesses. I wish I could tell them, but you are the queen.
Absolutely. And I was going to ask you that because being stuck in marriages that are not very empowering is something which is more common than we think, unfortunately. When you come across somebody you see like that, somebody where the earlier Nirajita was, and you're seeing that this person is also stuck in a very similar situation, environment, etc. How is it that you respond, or how is it that you address these situations? I mean, someone is coming and telling you that this is what is happening with them, and here you are, you've made a journey of your own. What is your messaging to them? How do you handle it?
5 years ago, I would go into problem solving. I would go into advising them before hearing them out. Today, actually, I don't do anything, Dira. I just listen. Do they need me to tell them anything? But this understanding also came very late. Earlier, I would, and then I realized they are following their heart.
Yeah.
They are staying in that marriage because they want to.
Yeah.
I stayed in the marriage, and so many people who have not left their husbands told me, "Oh, to chhod deti." I'm like, Excuse me, you were not in that journey with me. So you don't know what I went through. It is very easy for another person to come and comment that, oh, if you were getting abused, why didn't you leave him? You don't know my journey. You don't know what I went through. You don't know my childhood traumas as well.
Yeah.
You don't know how I react to every situation. So it's very easy for you to comment.
Absolutely.
It would be very easy for me to comment because I've come out of a relationship on someone else. But I respect their understanding. I am here as a friend if you need me, but I will only be there as an observer.
Yeah. And in whichever capacity your friend wants you to be
Correct.
there. And this is such a beautiful growth, Nirajita, because oftentimes we fall into that trap of saying, I've done it, so I know better.
Yeah.
Going through what you went through and where you are today, to be able to hold that space where you allow other people who could be in similar situation to be who they are, to be where they want to be, is a growth of a different level altogether.
I think that's arrogance when you are saying that I have been there, this is what you should do. Experiences generally, if they are tough ones, they humble you.
Yeah.
They will make you realize that no, you don't know better.
Yeah.
So let them do what they can do best. I don't have any right to be arrogant anymore.
Absolutely.
I have seen, and every time I remind myself also, if I'm becoming arrogant, I also check myself. I have this my trust circle, even at work, even Ananya is one of my people, you are one of my people. I rely on you guys to tell me if I'm
Yeah.
losing sight.
And somebody asked me this question the other day about what does being spiritual mean. And for me, a very simple answer is this: to be able to travel your journey, to be able to find that light inside you, and also finding the ground beneath you to stay humble. I think this is the highest form of spirituality. Letting people be who they are, allowing people to live the life they want to, and yet focused on my own path.
Live and let live.
Live and let live.
Yes.
Before we were beginning this podcast, you had told me that you want the theme of your podcast to be around letting go.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what made you say that you want this to be the theme of your podcast. What have you let go in the process?
Everything is letting go in my life. Like that is the theme of my life. Letting go of mindset, different kinds of mindset shift is actually very prominent in my life. How I used to be so narrow minded, how I used to judge even my parents for being who they are, how I used to not judge myself for being who I am. Letting go of relationships that did not serve me, letting go of relationships that I could not give my 100% to, letting go of, I think, even career choices that I did not want.
Absolutely.
Letting go of everything is an art of letting go. Everything. The reason I wanted to talk about that was because if we do not learn how to be without trying to control things. Expectations come from an idea that I can control something.
Correct.
If you do not expect, the universe gives you after compounding everything. And I have seen that. And I'll tell you very small example, okay? My birthday this year, I did not know what I'll do. Okay. So I was thinking, oh, yahan pe to I don't have many friends, so maybe I'll do it with either my colleagues or I'll go home one day before my birthday. What do? I told my mom also that I'll come home then, and she was like, okay, fine, come home. Suddenly, I get a work thing, and my best friend Ananya lives in Vancouver, and I wasn't sure if I'll go for the work thing. And I tell her, and she's like, did you say no? I was like, I have not said anything. And she goes like, it's your birthday week. Why wouldn't you come here and spend with me? So I went to Vegas. I saw the best night sky I have ever seen in Death Valley because I did not try to control it. I did not plan it.
Yeah.
The universe gave more than I prayed for.
Beautiful.
So when you don't control, try not to control. Then the universe gives you more than you pray for. That fills my heart. That even now, the friends I have are quality. You know, like I genuinely want to say this, that there are people who have embraced my scars, been so gentle with my scars, that it is there are no sparks in those relationships, but there is so much gentleness, that my heart is just full with gratitude. I pray for nothing anymore. I still remember my mom took me to this mandir, okay, and she was like, अच्छे से बोलो हाँ भगवान को. I was like, क्या बोलूं? God has given me more than I prayed for.
Touch wood.
Like, I have no regrets, no prayers left. Like, I'm full.
And I wish you the stars that you love to gaze. I wish those stars to you. And I want to bring the podcast to a full circle by asking you a question that started your entire journey. How is the relationship with your own self today?
I still remember the first book reading we did. It was with Louise's book. And I still remember you all discussed during the book reading that we do mirror work. You have to tell I love you in the mirror. And so many times I said that I can't do that. I can't do that. That is so, if I went to the mirror and I'm like, I can't do this. But I genuinely think I have never loved someone more than I love myself today.
I love that. And what has that loving yourself meant for you?
There's this thing I keep saying, that would you want to be friends with someone like you? Always ask yourself that if you're doing something, doing an action or doing something for someone, whatever, would you want to have someone like that in your life? I would love to have someone like that. I would marry and I would keep them safe in a museum. I think that has been the biggest reward of this whole journey that I've had so far.
So Nirajita, I remember that there were times when we were trying to take a little bit of a journey with your inner child. We were wanting to talk about your early childhood days, and it was not always easy for you. And I also know that there has been some work that you have done with that little girl, these conversations that you tell me, that I talk to Nirajita now and I tell her that you're the queen. That tells me that somewhere you've been able to establish that connection with your inner child. If you feel comfortable, would you take us through how was that journey for you, connecting with that little Nirajita who who has her own scars, who has heard a lot of things which a child may not be wanting to hear from her parents. How was that for you?
So, Dheera, I grew up listening to one story, okay? That the day I was born, my grandmother left the house because I was a girl.
Girl.
She went to her, uh, place, and then she came back a little after I was a little grown up because I was a girl child. And that kind of stayed with me. You don't know how it affects children, right?
Yeah.
I kept hearing that I was not loved by her, and she was like a matriarch. Like she was my like the dominating force of that family. And there were parts of her that I really respected because she was so strong. But also, I kept feeling I was not loved by her. And my dadu kind of overcompensated for it by loving me so much. But I saw her being so close to my brother, my bua's son, in very subtle ways, like more prawns to him than me. Kheer banake she'll keep for my dad, not me. I was a child, I was the child of the home. And my dad would get so upset. I still remember that, oh, why do you keep kheer for me when Rini loves it? My pet name is Rini. So why do you keep for me when Rini loves it? And if she sees it. But those were subtle signs of I was not loved by her. Now, my mom, when she saw all that, she also, her reaction was more like to make things right, to set an example, she would be more strict with me. I do not judge her for her actions. I can say how it affected me because it made me feel like there was this mom who was supposed to protect me
Yeah.
from my grandmother who did not love me. And what my mom did was uh, be very harsh with me growing up. And at that time, I think right now parents are more aware that they should not treat a child in a certain way. At that time, that was not the norm.
Yeah.
So everybody was, very harsh with their kids. And the impact was that I became so fearful of the dominating force in the family. I think that kind of permeated to, in my relationship with my ex-husband also, because he was more dominating, right? In my family, my mom was, or my grandmother was, and when they were uh, being so harsh, I was always afraid.
Yeah.
I was perpetually afraid
Afraid.
of what next, what next. If you are walking on eggshells, and this is for everyone, that's not a good relationship. Let's be very clear about it.
Absolutely.
It's not a safe space. If you have to perpetually walk on eggshells, whether with your husband,
Absolutely.
whether with your friend, parents, anyone, that is not good. Let's be very clear. Let's not,
Yeah, let that message go
yeah,
out very clear.
let's not glorify the fact that, oh, मैंने तुम्हें मारा तभी जाके तुम इतने सक्सेसफुल हुए लाइफ में. No, no. Be kind. Kindness is a virtue. So just that, like, I'm so glad when I see, parents talking to their kids who are extremely naughty, but also in a very respectful manner.
Yeah.
And it really makes me feel very good that today we are coming into a world where we are more aware, we want to make those changes. Parents are being more conscious about their, parenting style also.
Yeah.
Because let not every child grow up like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, since you mentioned growing up with a lot of fear, and that fear also passing on to the marriage that you had, whenever there is fear, there is also a very big amount of unexpressed anger, right? Did you experience that yourself? Were you angry? Were you resentful? And how did you find ways to bring that part out?
I think it was sadness disguised as anger.
Mm.
there was so much grief why
Mm.
I was not treated with
Mm.
more kindness,
Mm.
why this unjust behavior. It became anger towards even men sometimes. I become so angry when I see women being oppressed. It makes me so angry, but it stems from that sadness
Absolutely.
that I was not treated with
Mm.
kindness. And it has become so rampant, these conversations. It's become a cliche now. But nobody realizes it's become a cliche because it happens so frequently.
frequently.
So let's talk about it. Let's make sure that no one else goes through what we have gone through. Just because you see me doing well today does not mean I've not gone through shit.
Yeah.
So let's normalize talking about these things, and let's also remember that these things still happen.
Yeah.
They still happen.
So how do you hold that little Nirajita today, the one who wanted love and nurturing from her mother that she did not get, probably protection that she did not receive? How do you converse with her? What is your language? What is your love language with that little one?
Um, you know, I was in the cab that day and I just pictured myself hugging her. It is
Aw.
damn funny.
Aww.
But I do. I have my childhood pictures up on the wall, and I think that my sister actually sent me a picture of my childhood yesterday, and I was looking at her and I was like, such a naughty smile. I don't want anything in the world to take away that childlike naughtiness and that fun thing
Yeah.
from my life. No matter what my journey has been like, I always want that naughtiness of that Nirajita to stay with me all my life. This fun energy and everything. Let no scar bury that ever.
And to know that, Nirajita, which I say very often, to know that your parents did whatever they could in their best capacity. However, the fact still remains I did not get the love I wanted, or I did not get the safety that I wanted. But today I'm an adult and I can give myself that love and safety that maybe I did not receive as a child, and that empowers that because I'm able to hug the little self. Also, it helps me to free my parents from that bondage of you were not there for me, but now I am there for myself.
Yeah.
It's freeing.
It's freeing, and it also allows you to not judge them.
Absolutely.
Because I have spent, in fact, I've spoken to you also about it. I have judged my parents for their actions, their decisions. I think I'm at a space right now where I can say that that was their journey. They did what they knew.
They could, yeah.
And I enjoy a very healthy relationship finally with them, where I look forward to talking to them, having fun with them, joke with them. It's not been easy reaching here, but I'm glad I did. Thank you for listening to the stories of SWA, and please don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe for this podcast channel.